Yes.
Oh, my friends, will you pray with me? May the words of my mouth and the meditations of my heart be acceptable unto you, my God, my strength, and my Redeemer. Amen.
Amen.
So, Jesus' followers were walking along. How many? It seems like I start a lot of sermons that way. Jesus' followers were walking along. Okay? And they were chatting. Because what do you do on a long walk, right? What do you do on a long car ride? You chat. Or you do Facebook these days. Anyway, the conversation turned to, who was the best? Who was the greatest? Who was the most important disciple among them? You know what? We've all done that. Every one of us has done that. You know, we try to one-up each other just a little bit, you know. You know, when we were kids, we would argue over who could jump the farthest. Or in my neighborhood, who could spit the farthest with the best accuracy. And then we went to school. We would argue about who got the best grade on the test, without ever showing the grades, of course. Or in some groups, you know, the prize went to the person who got the lowest grade on the test. But it's all about who's the most important. And as we got older, we competed to see who got the biggest raise. Somebody told me recently that for people in business, you know, not us, you know, the people who make all the big bucks, and for athletes, it's not really about the money. It's about how much money I make in comparison to somebody else. Because that shows how good I am. And even those of us who have retired, right? We brag about our finesse at sheep's head. I had to learn what that was because I'm not from Wisconsin. But anyway. Or, you know, if you're not good at cards, you reminisce about the things that happened, you know, 20 years ago or 50 years ago and how good you were at catching a football. Right? We are very much like the disciples. And like them, we want to be recognized. We want to be the ones favored by those we admire. And often by those who are in charge, whatever in charge means to you. But Jesus, as he often does, turns this idea right over on its head. Anyone who would be first must be last. Anyone who would be first must be last. And I don't think that Jesus was implying that you have to be the slowest, or the weakest, or the poorest, or the dumbest. He didn't mean that. He didn't say that in order to get into heaven, you must work very hard at accomplishing nothing. I don't think that's what he meant. Instead, what he was saying is that it's all about service. It's all about service. It's all about being the one who helps rather than the one who demands help. Demands. You notice I didn't say the one who needs help. The one who demands help. Because needing and accepting help is not a problem. In fact, you know, asking for help if you really need it is probably a good thing. Because for the person on the other end of that request, providing help is a good thing. You know, I wonder if the real question is, for those of us who may be on the giving end, what help do we give? maybe, not always, but maybe that means that sometimes the help we give is not money. Maybe it means that we don't always offer that money. We may be called to give immediate assistance, for food or clothes or a place to sleep. But that immediate assistance needs to be followed by helping the person to get the training, the job, the medical help, or whatever might help that person, rather than whatever might help that person to be the one giving help in the future, rather than the one receiving help. So maybe that means for individuals that we work a little bit to try to help make sure that job training is available. Maybe it means that we step out and support groups who are working to feed the hungry, especially if they're also working to help people to find employment. Maybe it means giving clothing to groups who are working to help people apply for jobs, so that you have the right clothes when you go in to apply for that job. It can make all the difference, not only to the person interviewing, but to the person applying, because you feel good. The interview may just go a little bit better. Maybe it means, this is probably going to be difficult for you to understand coming from a pastor, maybe it means doing more than just praying for people. Maybe that's what it means. Certainly, it means doing more than just telling people that their problems are all of their own doing. It may be so, Lots of times it is. But maybe we can help people find a way out of their problems. Find a way out. Even if the problems are of their own doing. There's an old adage that it says, if you give a person a fish, you feed them for a day. And if you teach them to fish, you feed them for their lifetime. In a broader sense, we need to do what we can locally. Locally maybe meaning just in this small group of people, or in our neighborhoods or in our city, to help problems that are bigger. Because if we can help a small group, it can grow. And that may mean that as we look at trying to deal with bigger issues, it may mean that you donate to national and international organizations. It may mean that. Because you believe that that organization can provide the help that you can't provide yourself. Because I think the idea that we need to provide teaching to fish, we need to keep teaching to fish in mind, but that sometimes giving money to the teachers is the answer. Sometimes, though, we have the ability to do the teaching ourselves. And that means maybe actually volunteering for groups. Maybe it means volunteering to help in disaster relief if you have the skills. In any case, being last can be a good thing. Being last can be a good thing. Somebody told me several years ago that the beautiful thing about pastoring a church is that to be a good leader, you have to be a good follower. That you have to be last. That's my job, right? Because telling you what to do won't do anything. Showing you what to do will. and following your lead works. So if you have that idea for a great ministry, let's talk about it. And you lead, and I'll follow. Amen?